A sea of motorhomes and fans in the infield at the mile-and-a-half Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Inside Winston Cup Racing. That's where we are, and the sun is shining on a Sunday morning before the Coca-Cola 600, a very nice sight to see. We have a lot for you in this half hour of Inside Winston Cup Racing, and here's what's coming up.
Well, Davey Allison simply dominated at the Charlotte Motor Speedway the past 2 weekends. He and his Haviland Star Ford Thunderbird crew cleaned up, winning over $400,000, including the Coca-Cola 600. We'll bring you all the action coming up.
A smiling Dale Earnhardt and company in Victory Lane on a Saturday afternoon at Charlotte, as Earnhardt beat Dick Trickle in an airtight finish in the champion Sparkplug 300. I'll have all the highlights.
And we'll show you how teacher Beth Murph is keeping her third graders in the lead pack by bringing racing into the classroom.
Today's show is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. By Goodyear, maker of the world's most successful tires, the Goodyear Eagles. And by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car.
Ford Trucks. The best never rest.
Look, everybody knows our full-size pickup's priced less than Chevy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just for starters. This study shows the F-150 will cost less to operate. And look, it'll hold its value better than Chevy. It's more than a good truck. It's a good investment.
More people are driving the best-built, best-selling American trucks than ever before.
Where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? So where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? Just about anywhere you want. Put on a set of Goodyear Wrangler radials, and you'll know why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
In America, your car's not just something you own. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Haviland is introducing new Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil with not one but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. New Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Hey.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
All my friends Miller Low Cider.
The Coca-Cola 600 is the longest stock car race in the world. There are a few races that takes longer to run, but they are on shorter tracks. But qualifying up front is certainly a mental boost for any driver, Randy, in a race of this sort.
Well, Ned, no doubt about it. It's a psychological edge to start on the front row in the Coca-Cola 600. And on the front row, Mark Martin was on the pole. He picked up his second Busch Pole Award of the season. He was looking to turn around his lackluster start of 1991 and pick up his first win. Now, Michael Waltrip, on the other hand, he was on the outside of the front row, and he was looking to pick up his first win ever in Winston Cup competition. Now, a couple of drivers that were hoping to make starts here in the Coca-Cola 600 were Jeff Bonine and Kyle Petty. Of course, Jeff was not even here at the start of this race. He, of course, broke 3 ribs and punctured a lung while practicing for the Coca-Cola 600. And Kyle Petty, of course, injured and broke his leg in the Winston 500 at Talladega. He was here before the start of this race, and we took the opportunity to talk to him and see how he was doing.
I'm cheerleading. I'm the one that's supposed to be doing the pyramid and the letters, you know what I mean? Go K-E-N-N-Y. See, I'm doing the Kenny thing today. So, and the Melagala, I'm supposed to spell Melagala and all that stuff. So it's going to be pretty tough with one stiff leg, but I think I can get it done.
Today's Winston Cup highlights are brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
While the 160,000-plus fans were being treated to some wartime simulation a mere hour and a half before race time, Davey Allison was in the garage area sweating bullets. His team frantically installed a new power plant after finding the valve seals leaking on the first string motor. 27 minutes after dropping it in, they fired it up, and from there on in, the competition was in trouble. It didn't take long to figure out that the second string engine that was dumped into Davy's car was certainly delivering. On lap 51, his Ford flew by the Chevy of Dale Earnhardt's to take the lead, a spot he would claim for 264 of the 400-lap affair. The pool of potential winners went away soon after with scheduled pit stops. That's when caution number 2 for Stanley Smith and Ted Musgrave caught many a lap down. The pace car originally picked up Harry Gant, who had not pitted, as the leader. Then Kenny Schrader, who was on pit road at the time but failed to stop. When the field lined up for the restart, there were only 8 cars left on the lead lap and over 300 circuits remaining. From there on in, the best racing ranged from 7th on back. Kenny Schrader was able to steal a little of Allison's glory by gathering up the halfway money. 9 laps after that, Alan Kulwicki lost a bundle as he lost his Hooters Ford in turn 3 and 4. 51 laps later, Bill Elliott and Terry Labonte, who had been going at it for over 20 laps, finally got together in turn 4, and Elliott went for a ride through the infield grass. With less than 100 laps to go, Hut Strickland showed in second as he and Alabama gang leader Davey Allison were 1-2. Hut looking for his first checkered flag ever, and Davey looking for his first of the season. The King had his crown polished off on the afternoon and was showing in 8th place with only 70 laps to go. Over the final 67 laps, there were 3 cautions. The second was for Rusty Wallace's little brother, Kenny, who was subbing for the injured Kyle Petty. And the worst was for the King himself on lap 385, all of which just put off the inevitable, Davey entering victory lane. Allison's Ford was first for the 10-lap sprint to the finish, followed by Earnhardt and Schrader. Kenny kicked Dale back to 3rd, and that's the way it would end up. Davey, Kenny, Dale, and a close Harry Gant for 4th.
When I came in and I saw that engine, those guys working on the engine at first, and my heart just sank. I thought, oh no. But then they came over and they told me that, our backup motor was a twin to the one they were taking out. So I felt a lot better then. And after the first 50 laps, we just sat out there and just tried to feel things out and see how things were going to go. And after that, we just said it's time to set sail.
Certainly there's an equally tough race in Dover, Delaware today. We need to take a short break. Still to come is a story on how children in school are using racing as a learning tool. And as we leave you for this break, here's the balance of the finishing order for the Coca-Cola 600.
Mr. Jones has gone 46 days without HBO comedy. Today's test, old shtick response.
I just flew in from the computer room, and boy, are my arms tired.
Take my lab assistant, please!
Mr. Jones is addicted to large doses of the revolutionary new comics on HBO. Once accustomed to this bold and daring new comedy, old shtick tolerance drops significantly.
The brightest new comics on HBO. Simply the best.
You know, that Ara Parsigan is some guy. After years of touting Plasticoat, now he's happy to share the spotlight with me. Ara's a real professional. He taught me everything he knows. How well Plasticoat covers, how long it lasts, the huge variety, the high quality. There isn't a thing that he left out. I really like this idea of sharing the spotlight. How about you, Ara?
Demonstrate the superior color of new Kodak Gold 400 film. Just open a box. It has the richest, most vivid color available in a high-speed film. New Kodak Gold 400. Fast film. True colors.
Yes, you might win a new Pontiac Grand Prix in the special days of summer sweepstakes. Plus, 4 special days in suite tickets for the Winston Cup race in Charlotte, October 6th. Plus, airfare. And special days in will throw in accommodations. How about 10 cruises for 2? Want to know how to win one? Register where you see this sign. Want to enter your name in the special days of summer sweepstakes? Call 1-800-CMC-DAYS. By the way, what is your name? Don't just sit there. Enter now.
Due to TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Budweiser 500 Sports Sunday, the regular 5:30 p.m. showing of Road Test Magazine will air 1/2 hour later, Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central on TNN.
Saturday, 4 legends of bass fishing, Roland Martin, Jimmy Houston, Hank Parker, and Gary Klein, match angling skills for a share of cash prizes totaling $70,000. The BP Fins game, Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Fly with Rusty Wallace to the Miller Genuine Draft 500. You'll meet Rusty at the team shop in Charlotte, then fly in his personal jet to Pocono and be the official starter of the Miller Genuine Draft 500. To enter, call 1-900-FUN on TNN. Each call is 95 cents per minute, or send your name, address, and phone number on a postcard to this address. Enter as often as you wish. Entry deadline July 3rd. You must be 21 or older to enter. Grand prize winner will be announced on July 14th on Inside Winston Cup Racing.
Those of you who have children know how hard it is to keep their attention, especially when they're in the 8 to 9-year-old range. And even if we think back to our days in school, we know we didn't pay too much attention to what was going on. Well, there's a teacher in Mooresville, North Carolina, Beth Murph, who has learned a way to keep the children's attention in school.
Most of us can remember back to our grade school days when we had daily lessons in reading, writing, and arithmetic. But the Parkview School here in Mooresville uses racing in a unique new approach.
Do all the cars use the same kind of oil?
They all use the same kind of gas.
Beth Murph teaches 3rd grade in what's called a next century school. A grant was given to schools that could come up with new and innovative programs for the kids. They go to school year-round on a 45 days on, 15 days off cycle. And the new tool they use for learning is NASCAR.
When we got brave and changed the calendar, we also looked carefully at the curriculum and how we could make the curriculum more interesting to the students, at the same time teaching the standard course of study that the state requires that we teach. And racing was a natural for me because I am involved at the racetracks on the weekends, so I have friends that I've known for the time that I've been in racing that I knew I could check with them and see, hey, how about teaming up with me and let's do something to make learning more fun for the kids.
The team they joined forces with was the Pennzoil Pontiac of Michael Waltrip. Team manager Richmond Gage was more than happy to cooperate.
She approached me with the idea saying, this is what was happening with the year-round schools, and we would like to tie in a racing type program, and would you be interested in helping us with it? And we provide them with postcards, and I visit school from time to time, and they come here at least once a year, and hopefully we'll get Michael to the school for the end of the year so he can answer some questions for the kids.
The kids are learning all sorts of things about economics, business, science, math, and geography, all through the use of the business of racing.
We're doing graphs, and we've used the shapes of the graphs to figure area and perimeter and geography. We decide how to get the team from Mooresville to wherever the racetrack is, and we pick which interstates we're using. The kids discovered that odd number of interstates go one direction and even number go the other, so they can find out which way we're traveling by what number the interstate is. And they've really had a lot of fun. And we found out even that it tied in with science as they were talking about why do they wiggle those cars back and forth. And Richmond told them, well, that's friction. You're heating up the tires. And they said, oh, we just did that in science. We rubbed our hands together and they got warmer. And they can see that there is a real world application to some of the things that they're learning even in 3rd grade.
Anything the kids can use as a learning device is used and applied in Mrs. Murph's classroom.
There are plenty of numbers and statistics that you can work with. We even, Michael Jordan was our problem of the day this morning. He scored 38 points what are the possible combinations? How many two-point baskets might he have gotten? Could he have scored any 3 points? Even though that's an even number, how would that work? So we look at what's out there in the real world and make learning about numbers and learning about things more interesting because we're just using what's here.
After the World 600, Michael plans to make a trip to the school. The kids are full of questions, and there's one more topic they'll have to discuss.
And of course, the third grade girls are well aware of the fact that Michael's cute. they will make that comment to him when he comes to visit. But then we use that as fact and opinion too, which is a concept we have to help them understand. And I said, okay, that is definitely an opinion. We have facts that we've learned about Bahari racing. We can also have opinions. So any way that we can sneak in a few lessons here and there, we've managed to do it.
Well, certainly Michael Waltrip gave those young children something to cheer about in the Coca-Cola 600. We need to take a short break. Still to come are highlights of the Champion Spark Plug 300 Busch Grand National Race. And as we leave you, the Haviland Track Talk this week deals with a new tire on the circuit.
This edition of Track Talk is brought to you by Haviland. Add more life to your car.
The Coca-Cola 600 marked another first for the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company in Winston Cup competition. And that's before Davey Allison drove his Ford T-Bird across the line on Goodyear radials. The company has now developed a tire without a tube.
What we needed to do was stop the equalizations that we had from where we would have tubes tear or melt or things of that nature. When the tube inside the inner liner here, the lifeguard inner liner, would basically quit working and lose air, it would start flopping around inside the tire. That would cause such a vibration in the car that the driver couldn't hold the car really on the racetrack, and he'd have to come in and pit. We've been working on this 3 years. Mark Martin had a equalization right at the end of the October race in Charlotte, and it cost him a race. Another time back in 1976, I believe it was, Cale Yarborough lost the Southern 500 for the same reason.
What Goodyear's trying to do is prevent that from happening. Even at some racetracks where you have to run a lot of brake temperature or something like that, we've melted the tubes before, and that's one of the things that the radial prevents you from having to run a liner part of the time in those occasions, which will help equalizations because you don't have a liner to equalize. And then if you do have to run a liner, you won't have a tube that can melt and cause equalization. So they're trying to make the system work better for us.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Haviland is introducing new Haviland Formula 3 motor oil with not one but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. New Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Presenting a superbly engineered high-performance machine. One that's been race-bred by the world's finest drivers to deliver the ultimate overall performance. What do we call this masterpiece of engineering? Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug. Drive it today and find out for yourself why so many champions prefer Bosch To locate a Bosch retailer or service outlet, call 1-800-882-8101.
This is TNN, the Nashville Network.
As the crews load up their tools from a quick 2 weekends here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, next weekend we'll be at Dover Downs, the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware, where we'll bring you all the action from the Budweiser 500 in Dover.
The Busch Grand Nationals make it a Dover doubleheader in the Budweiser 200. Bobby Labonte's trying to stretch his lead in the point standings over Kenny Wallace. We'll have highlights of the action.
And we'll tackle the complicated process of scoring a NASCAR event. Keeping track of 40 hard-charging race cars has now become a little easier with the help of a computer.
When the Busch Grand National cars run here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, usually you expect the Winston Cup drivers not to only dominate the race, but also the qualifying. But Bill Weber, that was not the case this time.
Well, Ned, there were several Winston Cup drivers entered for the Champion Spark Plug 300, so a lot of speculation was one of those drivers might be on the pole. But that's not the case. In fact, outside the pole is Todd Bodine, his best starting position ever. And on the pole in his Oldsmobile, Jack Sprague. Jack, congratulations. Did you expect to run so well in qualifying?
Well, we knew we had a shot at the pole, but we didn't expect the time that we ran. But the staff Miracle has been running good, you know, the little bit of testing we did have and during the day of pole qualifying, so we knew we had a shot at it.
And high expectations of starting first and finishing first?
Well, finishing first would be great, but right now I think the biggest thing is to, you know, to get comfortable and learn some stuff and see if we can bring this thing home in one piece for a change.
Jack Sprague with his first pole in Busch Grand National competition. So Sprague paced the field of 42 cars, a field minus defending champ Dale Jarrett, who failed to qualify because of a blown motor. Bodine led the first 29 laps until the first of 6 cautions when Joe Nemechek spun on the grass, exiting the tri-oval. Ward Burton started 4th and led laps 30 through 40. Then Dave Mader took the lead for 11 laps before Nemechek repeated his pirouette on lap 51. Dale Earnhardt started 21st and took the lead for the first time on lap 52. Bodine's day ended when his engine expired on lap 58. Elton Sawyer crashed in turn 4 6 laps later. Then the field raced to that strange but scheduled caution at the halfway mark, a unique 15-minute break to pit for repairs and bunch up the field.
You know, it's a good format. It gives us time to take a break, and the crowd gets to go get them some hot dogs, and Humpy gets to sell at concessions, and we get to go out and race here in a minute.
After the field refired, Earnhardt was the man to catch. No one ever could. Irvin ran second for 80 laps before fading, and pole sitter Jack Sprague also emerged as a contender, finishing an impressive 5th. BGN points leader Bobby Labonte ran as high as 3rd and finished 8th. Kenny Wallace was plagued by a rear end problem that forced him behind the wall for several laps. He finished 26th and fell 65 points behind Labonte. The final 30 laps were a green flag fight, with Earnhardt leading Dick Trickle, Harry Gant, and Jimmy Hensley. Trickle ran a strong second for the final 45 miles and actually passed Earnhardt with 20 laps left. But Dale recaptured the lead on the same lap. They battled to the checkers, with Earnhardt winning his 16th Grand National event and Trickle finishing 2nd for the 2nd straight year.
Well, he raced us hard. You know, we were real consistent the first half and the second half, and he got a little better after they worked on the car, and we had enough to hold him off.
Today's mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft.
Our question this week comes from William Underwood of Oxford, Pennsylvania, whose question comes from our voicemail box.
Do they use the same motor for qualifying as they do for racing?
Well, that just really depends on the circumstances. Sometimes you'll have a special qualifying motor with maybe more compression or a wilder camshaft in it that you think might run faster, and you'll have a qualifying motor for that reason. A lot of times your qualifying engine really isn't any faster, but you just want to have a fresh one. A place like Martinsville, you want to have the absolute freshest engine you can put in for the race. It really just depends on the team, on their budget, and the available time to build qualifying engines. Thanks for calling in, William.
If you have any race questions, you can write to us at Inside Winston Cup Racing, Box 240417, Charlotte 28224. Or you can now call us at 1-900-84-RACES. Charge is $1 per minute, average call 2 minutes. Fans 18 and under, get your parents' permission before calling. If we use your question on the air, you'll receive this embroidered Miller Genuine Draft jacket free. Fans 21 and under will receive an IWCR cap and t-shirt.
Well, our time's up for today. Hope you enjoyed the show. The races for the next month take us a long way out of town, but we'll be there. Next week, it'll be from Dover, Delaware. We'll see you then right here on TNN.
Today's show has been brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Winning the world over with 1991 trucks that are built Ford tough. By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. By Goodyear, maker of the world's most successful tires, the Goodyear Eagles. And by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Inside Winston Cup clothing provided in part by Sports Image Incorporated, suppliers of quality racing apparel. Communications for Inside Winston Cup Racing crew provided by Racing Radios, Forest Park, Georgia, the official communications of NASCAR. Transportation for Inside Winston Cup Racing provided by Fleetwood Enterprises, makers of a full line of excellent recreational vehicles. And by your Carolina Ford dealers. Nobody outsells Ford in the Carolinas. To purchase an official Inside Winston Cup Racing cap or t-shirt, or to join the Inside Winston Cup Racing Sports Club, send check or money order plus $4 shipping and handling to Post Office Box 240417, Charlotte 28224. And for Visa MasterCard orders, call 1-800-692-7777.
And the male artist of the year is...
Country music's biggest stars shine for the fan-voted TNN Music City News Country Awards. Join host Tanya Tucker and Roy Clark live from the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee for country music's most prestigious event, the TNN Music City News Country Awards. Live Monday, June 10th at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on TNN, the Nashville Network.
The 34 Classic Street Rod. It's hot, available, very affordable, fun to drive, easy to assemble. Call 1-800-328-5671 for more information on this special offering of the 34 Classic Street Rod and other timeless classics from FiberFab International. Call now 1-800-328-5671. The power and the grace of a thoroughbred, the FiberFab Speedster. The exhilaration and speed of the Speedster Californian. Fill your dream today. Own a FiberFab Speedster at an amazingly affordable price. Call 1-800-328-5671 for more information on the special offering of the FiberFab Speedsters and other timeless classics from FiberFab International. Call now 1-800-328-5671.
The $70,000 BP Fins Game Special, Saturday on TNN.